So I've opened up the intervals from week 1 assignment 3. These are monochromatic intervals that we're going to use to create designs for week 1 assignment 4. The first thing that I feel is important to do is to develop a swatch library that gives you all of the possible tints, tones, and shades that you can use in your monochromatic composition. So what you do to create a swatch library is you want to select your interval like such, and you see that all of them are highlighted. The first thing to do is expand by going to Object, Expand, clicking OK. Now what you want to do is create a new color group. And click OK, and you can see that this group becomes part of your swatch library. If your swatch library isn't open, you can go to Window, Swatches, and it'll appear. So let's go through and do that for all of our intervals. So now all of your intervals are in your swatch library. The next thing for you to do is select all of them by holding down the Shift button and then clicking on the little folder icon. Now you want to save this as a swatch library. So you save swatches and title it. I'm going to title it Week 1 Assignment 4 and save. The next thing for you to do is to begin work on a design. I've created a simple design using just the circle tool to create multiple layers that's activating the entire composition that I can then apply my colors to. So you can see here I have it saved as Week 1 Assignment 4 High Key. I also have another file, Week 1 Assignment 4 Low Key, so that you have two Illustrator files that you can change the colors in each file based on if it's high key or low key. The next thing you need to do is you need to load the swatch library that you just saved. To do so, you go to User Defined and select the one that you just named, and here they are. Now all you have to do is begin to drag and drop the appropriate colors to the areas that you want to put it in. This is my high key composition, so I'm going to begin to put very light colors into my design. And all I have to do is drag and drop. So as you can see, I've filled in all of the circles with light valued colors. My next task to deal with is the background. And the way I fill in the background is by creating a square that is the shape and size of the background or the artboard, choosing a color that I'd like to use, now this object is in front of all of the information that I want the viewer to see, so I have to push this square to the background. So I go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back, and now it's in the background. I click off of the object and we have all of our circles sitting on top of the background. The next thing that I feel is very important to deal with is the black outline or the black stroke that's around all of the circles. Black is not a high key color, so it doesn't make sense for it to be in a high key monochromatic design. It's not necessarily even a black that is a derivative of the blue that we're using, so it might not even be technically monochromatic. I'm going to go in and remove the outlines by selecting the circles with your black selection tool. If you hold down the Shift key, you can select more than one object at a time. So I'm going through and selecting many circles. This dialog box here is your stroke or outline dialog box. This symbol here means that you don't have an outline. You can change your outline if you want a purple outline or a red outline. This is how you would do it, but for this case we don't want an outline. So now you can see the difference between the circles without outlines and the circles with outlines. The shapes begin to harmonize better without the outlines. We don't have that fence between each object, which is very important when thinking about what's appropriate for the design. So I'm going to go through and remove all of the outlines. Now that I've removed the outlines, I want to analyze the composition. There's some areas that I feel aren't working very well. For example, this hue here is sort of standing out on its own. There aren't many other hues that are similar to it, so I want to change that. In addition, this one here feels too dark for a high key composition, so I'm going to change that one. I'm going to change this one as well. So now you see I have a lot of information that's outside of my artboard or the border for the design. The way this gets cropped down is through the saving process. First you want to save your design. So this saves all of your information to your high key file. Now you want to save it for uploading to the classroom, which we have to save as a JPEG. First thing for you to do is to save for web devices. In this dialog box, you want to make sure that JPEG is selected. Click Save. I'm going to put my name in here like we would for our file naming guidelines. Take out high key. Draft. High key. We want to save it to the desktop. So now when I open up the file, you can see that the information outside the artboard has been cropped off. So here we have the two final files. We have a high key composition, which is very vibrant and very bright and very light, and a low key composition, which is very dark and very subdued. These are what I'm looking for in your design. I want to see an active composition where the background isn't dominant, where it looks like objects are dominating the composition. I want you to integrate the design principles that we've learned into the class into your compositions, as well as your understanding of a monochromatic color harmony.